Okay, so we got a Nissan Pathfinder. Got it dropped off with these headlights. Can you put these on? Sure, let's figure it out. Holy crap, I didn't think it would be this big of a deal. Anyway, here's our new product. LED halos. There is a little bit of wiring to do. I didn't find it dramatic at all. You just got to tap into your daytime running lights, which the plug is already right there. It's going to plug in right here anyway. So this is what it looks like after. Here, we'll start here in the grill. These grills have a easily removed connector. Stick a flathead under there if you need two flatheads at the same time, not to break them. Just take your time, pull this top piece up. Once it comes up, you can pull the whole unit out, and it expands once it's pushed down. You remove all those from the top, and then you'll notice that the bottom is still connected. Well, the bottom's connected with these little clips. If you just push up on them and pull at the same time, pull towards the front of the vehicle, they release. So start on one side and start working your way down until all of them are off. And then your grill's off. Once your grill is off, you're gonna have some more of those push pins in the top of the bumper. 3 of them here. Take those 3 out. And then before you start removing the headlight, come over here and unscrew your wheel well. You're gonna have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. There's 2 that stick up towards the hood on the bottom. You'll have to get under the vehicle to remove those. Those are just Phillip. And then remove the ones around here until you get to the middle of the wheel well. Stop there and just fold it, turn your wheel towards you, fold the wheel well out of your way. And then we have 2 bolts that hold the bumper to the body panel here. They're not easy to get to, but they're not horrible either. And those are 10 millimeter. And then you can expose the side here. You have a bolt right here, 10 millimeter. All of them are 10 millimeter on the headlight, and a bolt right here. You cannot get to either of these until you remove the bumper. It's funny I say that because before I figured that out, I actually removed them, but don't even try. It was just a nightmare. So you can literally just pull the bumper away, just enough to get in there, no problem. So remove the 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter here. Then there's a 10 millimeter in the headlight here, and 2 up top. Once you do that, you can kind of MacGyver it out slowly while pulling the bumper away and unplug it. And that's your headlight removal. Get the wiring and everything ready. Okay, I got everything's ready to rock and roll and put back together. First things first, make sure you squirt some dielectric grease in all your connections. If you don't do that, that's a good habit to pick up right now. It'll provide protection from any corrosion in the future. Aside of that, I had to pop these sockets out of my old unit and put them in. Now these are your halo units. They just have a ground and a hot. So I went through with my own meter real quick and checked what's what. On the driver's side, this red wire was my hot, and the middle black wire is the ground. So I just got it prepped so I could show you guys. I cut the sheathing back a bit so I could expose and give myself some room. So I'm going to solder these 2 connections, and then I can cover it back up with the sheathing, put some black tape over it, and plug this guy back in, and then we're good to go. If you are uncomfortable with that and you want to check it, just get your own meter, put your negative on your negative side of your battery, turn on your daytime running lights, and test it until you find the one that's correct. The passenger side was the same thing. There was a black wire coming right out of the middle, and it was the ground, except for my hot was a silver colored cord, wire, whatever. So passenger side was silver for hot, black for negative. This side is red for hot and black for negative. Both the negatives were in the middle. Now remember, if you get the wrong wire, it's your blinker, so your halos are going to blink. Don't do that. Make sure you double check. So if you need to check for ground, by the way, get your own meter and put your hot side on the hot terminal of your battery. Come over here, you should get 12 volts. If you have 12 volts, you know that's your ground. But if you want to double check it, turn on your turn signal to make sure it doesn't go from 12 volts to nothing to 12 volts to nothing. If it does, then you've got the blinker line rather than the running line. So I'm going to plug this back in and we'll show you guys the finished product. All right, all done here. So just to kind of guide you through the reinstallation, once you get your headlight all wired up, plugged in, everything's good, pull this bumper back a little to slide the headlight in. Once you get that in, make sure you get the 2 bolts that are right here. They're not too far from each other. By holding it out, maybe a friend can hold it for you, or you can use a piece of wood to wedge it out while you get in there. It wasn't bad. I was able to just use a 10mm wrench and just a little socket for it to do all of this, really, and a flathead. So anyway, you get those 2 bolts on. It's pretty critical that you get all your bolts on and then align it with the body before you tighten any of them down. But start with the 2 bolts that are under the bumper, then do your 1 on the left side of it, then do your 2 up top. And like I said, get it perfectly aligned before you snug it down, because they are highly adjustable, so they could be way out of whack. After that, you're just gonna put the 2 bolts that go holding your bumper to the quarter panel. Then put your screws back into the wheel well. Remember the 2 on the bottom here. Then from there, put your clips back into the top of the bumper, and then you'll be able to slide this grille straight in from the front of the vehicle. Just clip it right in. You'll hear all the clips go, and then you're just going to punch in these guys. Make sure they're separated as you're pushing them in, and then once this bottom part's all the way in, you can push the head down, and that'll lock it into place.